Hey guys, what's going on? Time for a little Jays talk here this morning. Read the news last night about Pete Alonso going back to the Mets, and honestly, I'm happy for him. It seemed like all along he wanted to be a Met, even if he had ended up with the Blue Jays. It definitely seemed like his preference to go what he calls home. So yeah, happy for the player in that sense that he got a dollar value that he was happy with, got to play for the team that he wanted to be on. Sucks a little bit for the Jays, and they'll have to pivot from that. But it is what it is. He would have been a great addition, although an imperfect one. Hopefully, we're getting this Vladdy contract extension done, and as long as that gets done, you don't really miss out too much. By missing on Alonso, we'll have our first baseman set for the future. Yeah, again, I don't want to downplay it. Like it sucks that we didn't get him. It would have been a nice add. But we can move on from that, and you know what? I think we can replace that war elsewhere. There's a couple of trade targets that I like. I like Alec Burleson from St. Louis. I've been saying that all offseason. And to be honest with you, I know his stats are pretty good. I think he had like 21 home runs last year. He's a lefty bat. I don't know why I like him so much. I just do. I know there's other players that are comparable, but yeah, he's cheap. He might take a little bit to pry away from St. Louis, but I think he would be a good fit. And then Sanchez from the Marlins, similar type thing. He's got tremendous raw power, but he's a bit of an unfinished product, and he's a little bit older. So I don't know. You could probably get him for reasonably cheap. Far from a perfect player. He's probably got the upside of a Pete Alonso bat, but obviously he hasn't done it to the extent that Pete Alonso has. And both those guys can play some outfield for you. And, I mean, in a pinch, you could probably transition them to being first baseman or things down the line. But again, with the Vladdy extension, that's not really a concern. So those are a couple of places I'm looking in the trade market. Obviously, with the Jimenez trade, we saw trades can just pop up out of nowhere, really, right? Like, who saw Horwitz going rerouted to Pittsburgh, but who saw him getting traded to the Guardians for Jimenez? Really, nobody. Nobody was talking about it, no nothing. So, honestly, if a trade does get swung here, it will likely be for somebody that nobody is currently talking about. I know Alex Bregman is still on the market. I'm not super optimistic that we pull the trigger on that just because of the dollar value involved and the positional fit. And to be honest, I'm not sure if he wants to come to Toronto that badly. I think that he likely has preferences in the US, which is fine. So I'm thinking more of from a lowered expectations point of view and a hoping for a little bit of upside as opposed to, bringing in the name value in an older player where you're paying the premium price to get them past their prime potentially. So yeah, a bit of a different category than what Alonso and Bregman would have been, where you're paying that high AAV for a proven track record, but you don't know if you're getting their best years. Our pivot is likely going to be on the flip side of that. Like I mentioned, Sanchez, Burleson, maybe you're getting like a 25 to 30-year-old in trade who's still on a team-friendly deal or still has some years of control remaining where you're not having to blow the budget on them. And then internally, I've got up our Zips projections in front of me right now. And, there are some promising names if we can't go out and get somebody or if an injury does occur. I'm just looking through here now, and in terms of I know it's not the sexiest additions, but if you're just looking at 20 home run bats, which, every team needs those types of guys. Like, not everybody can go out and hit 40 home runs like we're expecting maybe a Santander or a Vladdy to do, the 30 plus to 40 home run guys. But in the 20 home run range, we've got Varsho, we've got Springer. I know people scoff at Varsho's bat, but to be honest, he's a league average bat with pop. I would not be surprised at all. He's going to be hurt to start the year, but I wouldn't be surprised at all if he maintains a 25 home run pace when he's back. So, maybe does end up hitting 18 to 22 home runs, something along those lines, while providing Gold Glove defense. And George Springer, I think that we're going to be batting him leadoff at least to start the year. I think he's going to be getting plenty of at-bats. And last year he hit 19 home runs with, a little bit more life in the clubhouse and a little bit more optimism throughout the team. Maybe you see him replicate that and get another 19, 20 home runs. Just, a decent year out of him. I'd love to see that. And then there's the guys that, you're not as optimistic on, but they've shown the upside. Like Davis Schneider, I don't know what to think of him really. He came up looking like Babe Ruth, and then last year he started the year pretty well and then just forgot how to hit. I don't know if he was hurt or if there was a mental issue there or what was going on with him, but I find it hard to believe that a guy can get to the majors and then fall off that badly. I'm not saying he's going to be who he was in his first year, but I still feel like there's a major league bat somewhere in there. Whether that's a platoon bat or not, I think, I think there's some upside left in him. Same thing goes for like the guys that haven't really cut it yet, like Palmajani. I know he struggled a little bit in the minors last year after showing, I believe he had a really strong 2023 and then kind of struggled last year, but he definitely has some raw power and he can play a third base, he can play first base, he can obviously DH. So he's another guy that's like, between him or Relvis, Davis Schneider, Barger, those guys, it's like who wants the job and who takes it in spring training, because I think that's what it's going to come down to. Obviously, Davis Schneider will be given the inside track just because he's been there, done that. But I definitely believe that Orelvis, Palmajani, guys like that will be hot on his heels, and there's an honest competition going on for these last couple of roster spots, which I'm happy to see because it should get the best out of them, and it allows you to just take who's dialed in right now. That's the guy. And, there is an alternative here where we do go into the season with, in the outfield, you've got Rodin, Loperfido, Lucas, and then they're kind of holding down left field, center field while Santander DHs. And, hopefully someone takes the job when Varsho's back. Somebody really hunkers down in left field. If that doesn't happen, there's always the path to trade later on in the year. I don't think we're needing, a Vladdy Jr. because we're getting that out of, Bo Bichette, Vlad, Santander. But if you just need a complementary bat, I don't believe that's impossible to get at the deadline, or even just, a couple of months into the season. We saw Luis Arias get traded early on in the year last year. So, you can run out. That's the thing about a lot of these prospects is they are, 24, 25, 26 years old. The Rodens, the Wagners, the Loperfidos, they're not kids anymore. So if you do want to run out with them out of spring training and kind of give them, April, May to see what you've got and just hope somebody hits the ground running, you can go ahead and do that. And if it's just falling on its face and you're just getting nothing out of, say, your 7, 8, 9 hitters where, Orelvis can't hit a baseball, Barger's striking out a ton, Rodin just isn't who you thought he was going to be at least right away and maybe needs to be sent back down. Like if the wheels start falling off those guys, hopefully your 1 through 5 hitters are still carrying a competent offense, and then you can go out and supplement through the trade market at that point in time. So yeah, to kind of summarize what we're going over here today, it's sucks that we missed on Alonso. He's more of a sure thing than anything else we've got, but we do have some platoon options, some guys that could potentially be big risers this year in the MLB circles. And I'm hopeful that, some of these guys take a step forward and give us a nice surprise like Horwitz did last year, kind of to a similar effect where you've got a guy that's batting, 6th in the lineup and you're feeling really good about it. So yeah, hopefully one of these guys takes that kind of step up. And if not, well, then there's always the trade market later on. So I'm upset that we didn't get Alonso, but I'm not devastated by it. And I'm not sure that Bregman is the path to take with that money. Would I be upset if we got Bregman? No, obviously not. But yeah, I'm seeing enough internal options here now, enough platoon options. I want to see Will Wagner play baseball. I want to see Orelvis Martinez play baseball. I want to see Loperfido. I want to see Rodin. So, you know what? You got to keep a roster spot or two open for some DH days, some outfield days, some third base days for those sorts of guys. Anyways, let me know what you think in the comments below. Are you on board with kind of running it out with these young guys, or do you want to see us go out and pull out all the stops for Bregman? Where are you guys at with all this? Let me know below. Okay, thanks.